All right, welcome to the live stream, Friday the 13th. Another good day for Bitcoin. Good day,
Do you want to
week.
tell them? Do you want to tell them now, or you want to wait? So there's a lot of people in, so you can find out what happened, why it stopped. Why it stopped running up.
No, I think we should wait for more people to tell them why we hit the top today.
Really sad, but
Hello, Brent and Steven and Barry and Alex. I'm going to mispronounce this, but Fable, that's on me.
my bad.
Steven and hello, Gorilla. Gorilla or Grillo. Happy 19.5. Let's see 20K this weekend. That's right. How about today? Let's see it today.
You know why
Hello,
it's
Wesley,
pumping
Keith,
right now,
Dan.
right?
Why is it pumping?
I'll just say one thing. Davos?
George is here. You can hopefully you guys can hear him. Let me know if you can't hear him. His face isn't here yet. But
Oh, I didn't turn my camera on?
no, you're faceless.
How do you do this?
You're asking the wrong person.
I'll turn it on in a second again.
Justice for Stronghold, says Dan. Wesley, appreciate your content. Thank you very much. Sourmelon Gaming, hello, welcome. Oh, we will break 100 today, says Sourmelon Gaming. Mark my word. Yes, let's do it. If everybody can smash the like button, we will get to. Let's try and get back over 100. If we can't do that on this week, this was like the best week ever. I got 17 people. 18. Oh, there it is. Don't be shy. You can hit the like button. You can unlike it later. But if you like it now, then it gets out there and it helps people join us. Yeah, Barry said, remember, it used to be like this all the time before the 10K to 100K competition. That's exactly right. I'm doing a video on that this weekend, bringing it back to life. Gonna show the train wreck that was 2022 and hope for bigger, better things in 2023. Yeah, this was like a regular week back in, like October of 2021. Steven, the real estate videographer, says it broke. Resistance, big run coming. I hope you're right. I'm finally in the green with Marathon. It's been a great week. That's Gorilla. Nice. Congratulations. And a lot of people, I will tell you, a lot of people left comments in the comment section on the videos this week that they were very close to break even or in the green. So that has been a long, long time. I'm not back there yet. I'll just tell you that. But this week helped a lot. I mean, this was a good week. Hey, JD, Gary, Barry, QWERTY. I learned what that is. It's the keyboard. I didn't know that. 40 likes.
Taking a shower.
Thank you, everybody. That's an awesome job.
That is crazy. It's probably because my face isn't up.
Yeah, where is your face?
I don't know. Where's your face?
My face is on the screen.
Where's your face?
What's the matter with your face? Oh, Barry said, nicer video comments this week. It is so funny that you say that, Barry. I was just talking to my son about that. I'm like, I spent the last couple hours going through comments trying to catch up and answer people. I'm like, wow, these are nice comments this week. So I think everybody was in a little better mood this week. Fortune Hunters asked me, what's my thoughts on Riot? Why are we always trailing? I will tell you, because Riot, Alex, who I think is on here, called this the other day. Hey, there's George. A couple of different people, including, I just happen to remember that Alex talked about it, that it was time to rotate from Riot to Marathon because Riot had run way out ahead of Marathon. So now, in hindsight, this was an obvious move, but that's what's going on. Marathon was a much bigger company than Riot 3 months ago. Riot pulled hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap ahead of Marathon. And don't look at the stock prices. So this is where people get confused. A lot of people think like, wow, Marathon passed Riot. Well, it did not pass Riot. It's still not as big a market cap, so there's still room left for Marathon to run. So that would have been a good, you know, if you're a day trader or a swing trader or whatnot, that would have been a really good move this week, is to shift out of Riot into Marathon. And I think probably, I didn't do it, but because I feel like I kind of missed the first half of it at least. George.
I'm speechless.
Speak to us.
I'm speechless.
Now
they announced charges on Genesis today.
Oh, that's not good.
No. No, that's not good at all. I would say take profits. That's all I'm saying.
I second that. This is not financial advice, but I will just tell you guys that through the use of options, I did work my plan this week. So I talked about that last week, and we talked about it on the members stream this week, and I got to, this couldn't have worked out any better. I don't know where we go from here. It seems like we're really overbought, but yet, you know, there are some indications that maybe we're still going to keep running for a little while longer. Right now, I guess, this was the easy part. I don't know. I'm not sure what's next.
I know. I don't have any profits either, but I have profits from the lows. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And Tom, what's your little strategy if you don't want to sell the stock? You can put some puts on there, right? Or sell some puts. Or
you can buy some puts
calls
as protection. So, you know, that's like buy. I equate that to insurance. So if you have 1,000 shares of something, if you buy the puts at, you know, a little bit under, then you protect yourself in the event of, really, just like insurance. That's catastrophe insurance. You're not really looking to make money on those. You're just looking, let's say, for instance, you were in GREE, and, you know, GREE went from 35 cents to $1.06 this week. So maybe you buy some protection at $1, because if it went from 35 cents to $1.06, maybe it's going to turn back around and go the other way. So in those instances, when you're up that big, that's some, you know, that would be one way. Another way would be to sell it. Another way would be to sell calls on it so that you can, even if it pulls back a little, at least you've made some money selling calls. So there's lots of different ways to play it. I did my simple thing. The numbers were so low 2 or 3 weeks ago that it was just, I mean, it was beyond ridiculous. Let's see. I fell way behind.
I guess I just think I just read an article. I just watched an article. I always say read. I just watched an article about a company I can't mention, and I shake my head about the whole thing. And it's all true. It's not like conjecture. It's all
You're only
true.
getting the button because you won't tell us what you're telling us.
I know, but everybody knows, and it's just so sad to know that we're pawns in the game. I just want to get to maybe a knight or a rook. What is it, the little horse things?
Unless you're the king, really. All the other pieces on the
So
board
aren't they meeting in Davos this week? And
I don't know. Is that this week?
yeah,
I try not to pay attention to.
So a whole bunch of people get together that are worth a lot of money, and Bitcoin goes up. Interesting. I just find it interesting. Could be.
I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Jaehoon, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how
I
you
can do the
correct
last
me.
name for you, Kim.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
Kim,
Welcome.
thanks for coming.
I guess this is your first time on the live stream, but I've read a bunch of your comments. So, and
It's
thanks for being a member
6:25
as
a.m.,
well.
so she's probably not normally up. 6:25. That's when I get up. I think we have a good morning voice to wake you up. Hello.
Tom and George in the morning.
So Tom, somebody said something about they think Bitcoin Marathon sold 575 Bitcoin, but they cannot confirm it because, somebody just said it on another YouTube channel. How do you confirm that? When do they have to do like a 10K or whatever they got to do?
They don't have to announce that at all. Somebody may have their wallet and they're watching their wallet. I don't. I don't have it. So if anybody wants to post that, and even then, I'm not totally sure that means that they sold. So Marathon has not said that they've sold anything. I think people are putting the pieces of a puzzle together, and Marathon has talked about the fact that they're going to switch to a strategy where they're going to start, doing a hybrid and hodling some and selling some. But
I heard they watched some old videos. Is this true?
That could be. They may have heard that advice somewhere. It's hard to say.
I said, get a little closer. Come a little closer. So I'm going to hit you in the head. Sorry.
So I don't know. So I can't confirm. I am going to wait for their. Unfortunately, it's the middle of the month, so we're about as far away from an operational update. But I will wait either for them to come out with a press release or put it in their operational update. They've said nothing on their website. They have not put a press release out. There's nothing in any SEC documents. For me, everything that's past that, to a certain extent, is speculation. So I don't know. But I do know a lot of people are saying that Marathon's going to do that, and it's going to be no surprise to me at all if they do, and I think they should. And I hope they did it at 19,000 instead of 16,800 3 days ago. So we'll see what happens. You can't win in this game. That's the thing.
I'm just reading. If we don't get to all your comments, we're sorry, but we'll get to most of them. But I just sometimes when we're in a subject, and I'll bounce around, go back and forth. So even if it's way in the back, I try to remember and get to it. But Alex wrote about BlackRock and Larry Fink. He is a big fan of crypto. Yeah, that's really funny.
Was there a ha?
Yeah, no, there wasn't a big. It was easy. He's being sarcastic. I think he is a big fan of crypto now because I think he got it down to where he wanted to get his people into it. You know what I mean? He may secretly be a big fan of crypto, but there is no single person on this earth that's done more to destroy the price of Bitcoin than Mr. Fink and his back-to-back annual letters. Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that because
we're not going too deep on that one.
We think that's
the markets
a great
are closed
company
on Monday?
with solid fundamentals and good people.
Good people. The market is closed on Monday?
The market is closed on Monday in the United States for Martin Luther King Day. So, yes, that is correct. So,
thank you.
Trading now, Bitcoin's not closed. Bitcoin's never closed.
No, it's never closed. Is it closed? Are you done yet? No. So somebody said, what's your thoughts on XRP, which is, I have not changed my opinion on XRP at all. I still think it's going to be a decent crypto over time. I mean, I know Tom doesn't like this, but I know Bank of Canada's using it. I know the Bank of India's using it, and I know that a lot of banks are using it now. The only bank that's not using it is, are the banks of the United States. So
yeah, we're
I
the
think
last ones
that-
on board, and obviously we're in a lawsuit with them at the moment. So
I think they win their lawsuit. I think there's no way they
I think
really.
win or lose, as soon as
Yeah.
that lawsuit ends, they win the lawsuit either way. It
But I
just needs
heard
to be
so.
gone.
The rumor on the street is they tried to get them to settle and they wouldn't settle.
Because they just keep this lingering. It's outrageous. It's years. You know, if you got something, then you know, do it. If you don't, then that's it. Let these people do their thing.
Yeah. Oh, HUD's open Monday. Yeah, the Canadian stock exchange is open Monday.
That is true. So Bitfarms, Hut, Hive.
We don't know what they recognize up there in Canada anymore.
their national holidays are not the same as the United States.
Did you know they have a Turkey Day, a Thanksgiving Day?
It's not the same one though. It's not the same day.
No, but is it Christopher Columbus? Same person though.
I don't think so. None of that's Christopher Columbus.
Well, who is it?
Christopher Columbus was Christopher Columbus Day, but that's been gone for a long, long time.
XRP $10 by the end of the year? I hope so. I'll be a very happy man. Let me see how happy I would be. That's the one reason I'm not like upset about my losses at all in this game of trading stocks, which I did make some headway. We made some headway in our 10K challenge too.
Yeah, you won't believe when I do the update this weekend what percent we were down last year, and on January 13th, what percent we're up this year. It's absolutely stunning. It's unbelievable. So I'm getting that one out over the weekend. Last year was a train wreck. It just was. But this year, obviously, this is going much better. But it's way too soon to call it. I do hope, we're in. I'm going to go to the daily chart. We're in. I mean, this is a breakout.
I have a question, Tom. Is this what you've been talking about for the last, 4, 5, 6 weeks?
So this is exactly right. Somebody said, I think it was Jeff left me a comment. This came a little early. And I said, no, Jeff, this is actually a little late. This is my relief rally I was talking about for 2 months that didn't happen. So now it's finally here. So better late than never. And it shouldn't be. I mean, if it is that, we're not. That's 20%-ish, but from the very bottom, I guess, to be fair, 26%. But, I mean, that's 39. This thin blue line up here at 21, just under 21,500, that would be just under a 40% rally. These relief rallies tend to be 40%. So that is not a given. That's not an automatic, and anything can happen. And just like, for instance, we were on a nice rally here, and then FTX happened. So, bam. Not only rally over, but new low. So, we're always subject to that coming on. But you can see, I mean, look at this. This is green candle after green candle, and every day they get bigger and bigger. Yesterday was a monster. I saved yesterday's big board so that we can check it out on the stream, because yesterday was insanity. But it's not the only day. I saved a bunch of them, because this week was like... There was a couple of years ago, we used to get, I actually almost think this is even bigger than the moves we were getting 2 years ago. When you see, I mean, everybody, I know you guys already saw it, but when you see it here all at once quickly, it's shocking, some of the moves these things made. But that's why we always talk about this on this channel, and I know that there's a lot of people that think we're nuts when we talk about 5Xs and 10Xs and 20Xs and maybe someday a 50X. But the thing is, Marathon and Riot have already done that before. So, like, that's not like a guess of something that could theoretically happen. That's what they did in the last bull market. And they came pretty much all the way back down. So it is not unrealistic to think that it's just a matter of timing. How long is that going to take? But there were 2 or 3 stocks that moved 300 or 400% in the last 2 weeks. The stocks.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, I want to look at a couple of those later because, I mean, I put a little note out, like, come check out the stream because this is, I believe in 2023, this is the #1 industry to be, if you're a trader.
I'm going to tell you a little FOMO I had today and why the run stopped. You want to know why the run stopped, guys? At 11 o'clock today, I said, Tom, I feel like I'm missing out. See, I have most of my money on the sidelines for stock right now. Like I was getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. You know, I've been making a ton of money. But I got out, and I got out on a Friday, right? And then I was like, oh, well, I'm not worried about the weekend. And the weekend's kind of when this, started. So I said, Tom, I'm going to make Bitcoin stop rising. He goes, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to buy CleanSpark right now. So I bought CleanSpark for $2.79, right? Guess what it gets to? $2.80, and it stops.
And turned around.
And turns around. So I'm sorry, guys. I got in, and that's what happened.
Let's see where we ended up. 258.
See? I told you. I mean, long term, I'm not worried about CleanSpark. It'll be fine. But still, it's just one of those things. I'm just letting you know why the run stopped.
Sour Melon Gaming, I'm going to get to this in a while, but I will talk about, you're talking about the Bitfarms BlockFi loan. I wanted to do a video on that today. I'm going to do one this weekend because that is a much bigger deal than people realize. And that was really big, good news for Bitfarms. So I will get to that. Sorry. Pardon the interruption. I just didn't want to forget that.
So I was talking to Tom, and I said, Tom, what are the good Bitcoin miners to buy right now after we see this big, upswing in Bitfarms and Marathon and even Riot? What's a good one to buy? And he said CleanSpark and BTBT.
Those are the two, right? Wow, look, just a FYI, we're getting a giant green spike as we speak.
Well,
we are now we just touched, this is the 2017 peak from the bull market in 2017. That's what this,
how do you know that? That's so messed up.
That's the pinkish line right here. So.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So we just touched it. We just got there. So if we can break through that, then we're almost at 20,000. Somebody jokingly just a few minutes ago on the stream was like, all right, let's hit 20,000 this weekend. And then I jokingly said, oh, yeah, let's do it right now. And I mean, we just got to 19,888. So, nice. I mean, we could see that on this live stream.
Can I get a rip in the chat?
Or we might not.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry,
wait a second.
What is that kid's name?
We got new
Andrew. No, what's his
brother.
Name? Tasho. I'm a big Tasho fan. Sorry. Oh yeah.
You missed your new.
What?
Your new special effect.
Oh, let me see. I didn't see it. It
should
stay up long enough. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, wow. Now you need to ask for 21, Tom. Yeah, that's funny.
Scott saying this is not what Tom was talking about until we get to 21.5. That's right. That was my price target, 21.5. And I was even hoping that, there was an off chance that we could maybe run up to 25. So that is true, Scott. So we're a part of the way through, and hopefully we get the rest of the way through. But we're not there yet.
Oh, yeah. So do you see a pullback happening, Tom, or do you think this can be a straight line up?
I think this is the ideal time from the Bitcoin mining standpoint. I think this is the perfect timing. I really do. Because I think there is going to be a pullback, but we have in the United States a 3-day weekend. Everywhere else, there's the normal weekend of activity where the equities don't trade. And if there's got to be a cool off, and I'm going to tell you why that's my opinion. This is the RSI on the 1 day. So this blue line here at 61 has pretty much been, you can see we popped over it a couple of times. I'm going back, this is all the way back almost a year ago, We got to 70 on the RSI. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You got to go back to October of 2021. So this is like 2 weeks before we hit 69,000. That is the last time. And by the way, the RSI is way higher than that right now.
What is RSI? Sorry?
This is momentum. So everything over 70 essentially is considered overbought territory. So you're just, and there's 1,000 indicators, and you can't just follow any one of them because they all break over the course of time based on other things that are happening. But this I mean, like, this is a historic number on the daily time. We're at 85 on the daily RSI. I mean, let's keep going back. Where we got there January of 21. So that, yeah, I'll bet you that's within a few weeks of the Elon Musk tweet right there. Because remember, that's when we went up from like 20 to 40,000. So that was 2 years ago. That's the last time we've been up. And you can see, like, this is a vast wasteland. We have never been here. So that is the main reason that I think, even though I think this bull run isn't done, and I really do think we can get to 21.5, there's got to be a pullback. I mean, we can't just go there in a straight line. And if we do go there in a straight line, then I'm worried that we tank, because you can see how this works. Like the last time we peaked, it's like bam.
This is how you like, you know, you're letting the ring, you know, fishing. You're letting the line out, letting the fish feeling good. Doesn't think he's trapped at all. And then, you ain't get back. And you're like, yeah, I got that fish.
That's right. When's the rug getting pulled is the question. So I hope, 21.5 is a very good price target. But it would be nice if over the weekend, if this turned into like a little bit of line of support on the RSI for even just a week, then we could get up to 21.5 or beyond. And then I would once again, like I did this week, I bought options over the last month and took profits this week. I don't sell my stock because, to me, none of these stocks are even 1/10 of what their value is going to be from my personal price target. So not financial advice, but every one of these I will not sell until they've at least 10x'd. And I know that could...
You need to do something. You need to put my thing up. We finally broke it. 102, Steve just told us.
Not this one. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
What?
We finally broke it. Only for a second. Now it's back down. So your strategy now, Tom, is you're still not going to sell any stock. You're just going to get some options.
I will. If there's a pullback, I'll reload on my options.
Will you reload and buy in more stock?
I won't buy stock unless there's because I mean, all of this time right here, I mean, this is like a year of accumulation. So I feel like I think this was the bottom. Let me get rid of this RSI stuff. I think this was a very clear double bottom. I think we already had our bottom because this was in June. This was a flash crash. This should have been the bottom. It was going to be the bottom. You can see it held for 5 months. But this FTX situation was so monstrous that we created a very short-term new bottom. We double bottomed. And now, I mean, we're just running away from this line right now. So I don't want to, I just spent a year accumulating these stocks. I'm really probably not going to buy unless we get, way back down into the 16s or 17s or something.
Do you think that's possible? Do you think that there's a chance for a Fibonacci retrace?
You've been waiting for that one. Yes, I absolutely do. I think, I'm not calling that, but let's be honest, that's what has happened this year. The question is, and we actually just crossed a gigantic, I'm going to draw it and see if, let me go to a cleaner chart.
I mean, just remember, everybody's been saying, Bitcoin's going to zero, Bitcoin's going to zero. So we believe that Bitcoin's not going to zero, and it's going to be stored of value, and my wife's going to yell at me. Yes. Okay.
Let me go somewhere where the chart might have a little less lines on it. Okay, what?
So everybody in this, pretty much in this, has not given up on Bitcoin. And, you know, I would say we were almost a dying breed. Wouldn't you, Tom? I mean, everybody's talking about how it's killing the environment and yada, yada, yada.
The FUD was at an epic level. There's just no question about it. And, man, this goes way back.
And then if you follow other cryptos and you look at the other, you know, you just look at the top 20, everybody's been green this week. This has been a great week for crypto. And I don't know if anybody looks at the total market cap of crypto. That's the thing I pay attention to. And I think we're going to have a run to like 1.5 trillion, by the way.
Here's your number, George.
Yeah. I've been saying
George
this. I said if it breaks,
getting down to 800, and it pretty much exactly hit 800. So I'll give you up. I'm overusing the new button, but I got to give you that one. So now what's your new call? Because you just said it, but let's repeat that because you made a new call.
I said when we were at lunch today, and I said if for some reason we make over $900 billion, for some reason I feel it's going to 1.5 trillion. And I'm not saying that's all Bitcoin or all Ethereum, but I'm saying it's going to be a mix of Doge and
so that would be
some of the other.
That's a Bitcoin run back to 25,000.
Yeah. So I think that we're pretty. I don't know. You know, I could be wrong. I think there's also a lot to do with this meeting. That you know, let's be honest. When a whole bunch of billionaires get together, they like to see what they can do to screw with people. And this would be a way to do it. That's why I say take profits. But, you know, unless you know you're in for the long term. If you're in for the long term, it really doesn't matter what happens today and tomorrow. What matters is Bitcoin a failed project, a failing project, or is Bitcoin going to work? That's the question you have to answer yourself. I mean, I personally believe that Bitcoin is a product that's going to work. And it still works.
I think it's just gaining adoption. There's a massive amount of catalysts ahead. There are a few there's a few landmines ahead. We've been running through, you know, some tough times for the last, I guess, 15 months. And this was a vicious downturn. And in some ways, this was the worst bear market of all time. So
Georgia.
But you know, a lot of people are asking, is this a bull trap? So my answer to that is, we may get a pullback, but I don't think unless something, you know, there's 3 or 4 gigantic things. If Tether were to totally unravel and lose its peg, or and I'm not saying any of this is going to happen. I'm just using examples. If Binance all of a sudden were to go under, or, you know, turn into an FTX situation, but I don't really think any of those things are going to happen, and I think it won't be as bad a blow as the FTX thing was, because the system has already had that shock. So what happens is, you know, the price builds in like shock absorbers. So we've been down that road before. So yeah, it'll be a hit, but it won't be like the hit that FTX was, in my opinion.
Well, and something big happened today, and I think it was supposed to stop this morning. I don't know if it did, but Tether is no longer allowed on Crypto.com. Crypto.com said that, we decided that you're not a true stable coin. You won't release the data. You won't allow these people to audit you. So here's the problem. Bam.
And they're the biggest.
Yeah, stable coin out there.
Raul, welcome
Raul.
to the Talking Investing Squad. I don't know if you just joined or hit a button. If you just joined.
No, he did. He just joined.
Welcome.
So what do we do on Tuesday for Talking Investing? For our members only. What do we do on Tuesday?
What do we do? What?
Different than what we do today. I mean, you got to kind of recruit a couple people.
Oh. I thought you were talking, what are we literally specifically going to do? Well, so on Tuesdays we do a member-only live stream, and first of all, it's a smaller crowd, so we usually get to respond to everybody that's on the live stream. And the members get to recommend companies that they like, and then we take a vote, and I do a video on whichever one wins. And I will tell you, and there's a bunch of members on here right now, and you guys only vouch for me if you think it's true, but we have had a run of unbelievably good stock picks on the members channel, as from my perspective. So you guys let me know what you think.
You know what we should do? We should keep track of the ones that we pick. And
I got a list.
Didn't do that. What was it? Supermarket? Who was it?
Hold on. I'm gonna go.
Was it Alex that said to buy supermarket?
Jeff is the supermarket guy.
Jeff. Sorry. How could I forget Jeff?
I'm just gonna. I checked. I just happened to glance at this one today. So
most people do show prep. We didn't.
we show up. That's.
Yeah. So, you just happened to look at. Are you keeping track of?
I have a list. I have a watch list of every stock we've picked, and I'm tracking how they're doing. And to me, I mean, it has been an unbelievable. There's a couple that didn't fit my investing profile, but I will say, I mean, every stock, in my opinion, has been awesome. So Dan is saying straight bangers. Phonebook San is saying, yes, show Smurf. Oh, yeah, that's right. This was the last one we just did. And this is what it did today. So I'm pretty sure that was because of our video. Or maybe not. It's hard to say.
But it was because of the people in the members. I'll tell you that. It was the members that because we never would have looked at Smurf.
And this is a whole universe that I do not pretend to be an expert. These guys do a lot of things in Web3, and Web3 is so new, and it's a term that's kind of thrown around at everything that, if somebody's not quite sure what they're talking about, they just say Web3, and that's like the buzzword of the buzzword of the year for sure. But these guys genuinely are in Web3 in I think 5 different ways, and that was a great learning one for me.
So I mean, even if your strategy is a holder or a buy and sell or a swing trader, whatever it is, I mean, we have a different strategy for everybody. You have to really come up with your own strategy, but we have the different stocks that and it isn't us, it's you guys that are finding them. We're just the
that's
people,
what we do. You guys, then that's the beauty of having a group. You get a lot of different minds. I mean, I have a few sectors that I hyper focus on. So, I'm watching the stock market in general, but everybody's got their own things they know. And when you get a bunch of people together, you get a lot more good ideas. And it's been awesome. I just want to say, at Raul, I see JD answering. There should be a link in the comments section.
No, he already did. He's got the thing. He already signed up.
Oh,
he
okay.
found out how to do it.
So for anybody who happens to be on an Apple device, they don't show the join button. So there's a link in the description if you're interested in joining.
So next thing is somebody talked about GBTC. How down is that?
Hold on.
The spread on the Bitcoin. What's the spread like still?
I'll check right now. So this is another one we did, Funko. So if you join, these are all so there's an archive of videos waiting for you. That's the other thing. So.
And Tom is the one that's always been hooked on Bitcoin and these miners, by the way. Even when we talked about, man, maybe we should expand and do other things, he's the one that said, well, I just feel long term that the ones that are going to win are going to be these Bitcoin miners. And we also said that we're not big on Apple this coming year.
I think Apple, I didn't do that video, and I still need to do it. I want to do my bottom 5 Dow stocks, because I think there's 5 stocks that have traditionally been a safe haven that everybody flocks to, and I think those are going to be bad news this year, in my opinion, and starting with Disney.
And they're all retail stocks, by the way. Meaning
Disney,
that
Apple.
The people.
Those are 2 of my 5, so
Yeah.
I'll make the rest of the list.
Ooh, we're gonna be at 20,000 any minute.
And
99, nice.
I'm not on the chart.
Wow.
Come on. Yeah, I gotta keep this chart up because
we crazy.
Definitely want to be here. It would be nice to cross the line. Funko, MP, Plug, all huge moves. Yeah, I mean, all huge moves and all great companies to do a deep dive on. Raul is saying, I laughed so hard at all the YouTubers who started looking at mining stocks this week. Yeah, I'm sure. It's now everybody's going to be on the bandwagon. That's right. But this would, and so congratulations to everybody on this stream. Congratulations to all the members. I'm just going to say that because this was very, and I'm not saying it's over. We had a lot of pain investing in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, and the Bitcoin miners are a pretty big leveraged play on Bitcoin. So, you know, it was brutal, but I know a lot of you kept us up to date in the comments section on YouTube, and you were dollar cost averaging in all the way along the way. And that's how, so many people are at break even right now. And the thing is, if you're at break even, I'm not one of them, by the way. So I'll just tell you, there's people that did better than I did. But for the people who are already at break even, I mean, we haven't even just begun the Bitcoin run from a longer term standpoint. So
Tom, that's a really good question or statement. I guess he has to make so I feel comfortable.
Yes,
and that's all that matters is me, right? Come on. You see Bitfarms was like 38 cents. You know what I mean? And now it's $1 basically. I mean, it might be a little more, a little less.
Right.
That's still a safe stock to buy?
So I mean, obviously everybody's got a different risk tolerance. Let's put it this way, I have not sold a single share of that stock. I will tell you I did buy options over the last month and sold a lot of them over the days, each day this week. But $1, again, that to me, that's a 10x would be a great big disappointment for me right now. If 3 years from now Bitfarm has only 10x'd, I will be extremely disappointed. So that's my perspective. I know there's a lot of people, I don't know. It just, a lot of people were laughing when it got down to 50 cents. You see, they're going to have to do a reverse split and they're going out of business. And it's like, I don't look at the stock. I look at for those of you new to the channel, and a lot of you have already seen a lot of my videos, I read the financial statements cover to cover. I read the 10Q, management's discussion, all of that. So, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and the fundamentals on these, the stock market doesn't trade on fundamentals on a day-to-day basis, so you can get absolutely wrecked for a long time. But eventually, these companies have, the ones that I've talked about, and we all have our top list. I put out my top 4 and my top 8, and a lot of people gave me their responses of their top 4, and it was a lot of these are going to win and succeed. And the ones that do, I think, are going to be a 10x, a 20x. I think there's 50x's. On this screen right here, in my opinion, there's 50x's from today to 5 years from now. Not just one.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, it's not financial advice. That's my opinion. For every person like me, there's somebody out there like Warren Buffett who's going, oh, well, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's worth 0. So, if I don't even want to have this intrinsic value thing is a philosophical debate. It has nothing to do with investing. There's no stock or commodity that trades on its intrinsic value. So this argument, that is a false argument. So it's, to me,
it's always a multiplier.
Ridiculous. Right. There's a lot of factors involved. And for the Bitcoin mining companies, if they have a strong balance sheet, I tend to focus towards the strong balance sheets. And Bitfarms just did something to secure their balance sheet and they've been making progress. They made a big misstep about a year ago, and they went from a great balance sheet to one that was making me a little nervous. They've made massive improvements all year long, and now today they came out with an announcement that is going to play out, in my opinion, in their favor in a big way. And I re-reviewed their balance sheet today and kind of dummied it up for what I think it's going to look like at December 31st. And I really like what I see. I know I talk a lot about Bitfarms, but you know, they just, well, here. Let's go to the video.
Sorry, I'm looking at Bitfarm right now. I'm gonna probably buy some after hours. Oh my God, 111.
So if you
Bastards.
bought this at 36 cents on December 27th, that is approximately 2 weeks ago, and you sold it at the high today, that's a 244% move. If you held it and it's at the close, it's up 189%. So for those of you who average down on Bitfarms, you're up 189% in the last 2 weeks. And this is not the best one in the bunch. It's not even close.
And I did a double and I was all happy.
Right? Let's go. You wanna talk about crazy time? This is GREE.
Wow.
Wait till you see what this does. Fortune Hunter. Oh, super chat. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
What is
we hodl in dollar cost average.
Know what ZAR is. I've never even heard of ZAR. I'm interested now. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up.
I'll do this while you do that.
Anybody know what ZAR is? Maybe you can tell us. ZAR.
So from December 28th to Friday the 13th, if you got out at the peak today, that was 508% to the upside in GREE. In 2 weeks. That's a 5x in 2 weeks. So when we talk about 5x's and 10x's and people laugh and then they think it's ridiculous, this stock just 5x'd in 2 weeks. Most stocks don't 5x in 5 years. But when you're in this space and you're trading a leveraged trade that's on a high volatility underlying asset, you're going to get moves like this. This is what this space is. So it's not for the faint of heart by any means. You gotta take your punches and take your lumps in this area. But ultimately, so far in the past, if you did that, the payoff's been astronomical. So, we don't know if that's going to happen again or not. I'm bullish. I think that ultimately we will get back to the next bull cycle, and it will be similar to the last three, which were grand slam home runs.
Because if it doesn't, then Bitcoin doesn't work. Because we have a halving coming up in April or May of next year.
That's exactly right. We got to.
And it's just going to cost too much to mine for the price of to mine a Bitcoin.
Right. If Bitcoin's at $25,000 during the halving, then this thing's over. So
it goes from 6.5 to 3.25 or something like that, correct?
That's right. The halving is literally just what it sounds like. The reward is cut in half. And it does that every certain number of blocks, which they try to, based on a 2-week difficulty level adjustment, they try to make those 4 years apart. So they get pretty close to that.
Wow. I'm still in shock that it's been such an amazing week. So what about, I know we only really focus on Marathon. On Bitcoin, but what do you think about ETH? Do you even care about it anymore? Because you can't mine it, you don't really care about it, or?
My take on
Personal
ETH,
opinion, yeah.
I think it's the second strongest coin. I mean, it's the second largest by market cap. There's no question. It's the second strongest coin. I believe they made a big mistake. I think it's going to be years before this plays out and we find out what the real answer to this is. But I believe moving to proof of stake was a mistake. And all the things that they say that did, there's a bunch of more gigantic changes coming to Ethereum. So I think there's 4 more big major updates, just like the one we just had to move to proof of stake. And I just don't feel like that instills confidence in institutional type investors, where you've got something that says we're here, but we are this, and we used to be that, but we're gonna be this, and we're not sure. Oh, by the way, what effect's that going to have on the supply? We don't know. I think it's going to go up, or maybe it's going to go down, or we're not sure. So to me, I mean, all the rest of the coins were already proof of stake. There was no benefit to moving over to. This is probably an unpopular opinion. You guys can let me know. Either you probably don't care about Ethereum, or you probably disagree with me. I'm in the minority on this, but I think they're going to be sorry they did that over the long term. I think that leaves the door. It leaves the door open to a lot of other projects that now really they're apples to apples now. It's like, well, okay. One of the things Ethereum could say was they were proof of work, and that was higher level of security. Now, some people will argue proof of stake is a higher level of security, but if you do a deep dive on that, which I have done, in my opinion, I strenuously disagree with that. I think they're both. Once you're at the level of an Ethereum or Bitcoin, I think they're very secure anyway. So, that's not the number one issue, but there's no question in my mind that proof of work is a much, much more secure system. So I think that's not going to pay off over time. I'd rather be, most people would probably say they'd rather be diversified and have a little bit of both. But I have stayed away from Ethereum. I'll tell you this, I remember a year and a half ago when somebody said, you got 4 days left to get into Ethereum before it hits $10,000.
Right.
But that was about the time, people were saying, you got a week left before Bitcoin's going to get to 100,000. So I guess,
What about, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump around because I like to keep it hot. Okay.
Keep it hot.
I like to keep it hot. Luna, do one. Is there an opportunity there? Would you throw $100 on it?
I mean, $100
or $1,000?
1,000.
It has, because it's the only one that we've ever talked about that's not in the top 20. And I'm just looking at it right now. It's 0.000176. For the week, it's up 13%.
I mean, I'd
For
rather
90 days,
take
it's down 35%. Would you not use too risky for you?
I would take that amount of money. This is just me. I'd go buy scratch-off tickets and see how that goes, because it's the same thing.
Is it really?
And
but what about the whole burn rate? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is, again, they get to change the rules whenever they want to their liking, and most of these coins, the rules are so flexible, and there's, that's the thing. Bitcoin was the first one, and for some reason, they've made another 20,000 coins, and they keep getting worse at it. It makes no sense to me. You would think, like, this was the prototype, and they would get better and better at this, but they're outsmarting themselves, in my opinion. This basic model...
Are you becoming a purist on Bitcoin?
I'm a half of a Bitcoin purist. I believe Bitcoin will always be the dominant cryptocurrency. I think it's different than all the rest of the cryptocurrencies, and that is the reason they say Bitcoin and altcoins. I mean, those are the two categories. So Bitcoin is its own thing, and then everything else is an altcoin, including Ethereum. So, yes, but however, that doesn't mean I think that every single other coin is garbage. I think there are a bunch of other good projects out there that are going to succeed, but not 20,000 of them and not 10,000 of them. I think the vast majority of these are going to end in zero sooner than later. However,
really?
I don't know if it's 8 or 20 or 100, right? There's some amount of projects that are are going to prove themselves to have use, and they'll be valuable. There's room for more than one thing in this space. This space could grow significantly. We're at a $900 billion market cap right now. I mean, it's not hard to imagine, 5 years from now being at $5 trillion.
It's already been there.
Yeah, it was at that's right. It was at $3 trillion a year ago.
It was at 5. It was at 5.
Was it?
Yeah, it was at 5. We're at, just so you know, we're at 950 billion again.
Yeah, I mean, here we go.
$1 billion.
Bitcoin Optimus Maximus, said Stephen English.
No, I'm just curious because I like all the different coins, and I learn about them, and I can see the best case use for all these different coins. The ISIS 222. I love that. I mean, it's interesting to me. But do you think they're going to make all these coins commodities?
Do I think that?
Yeah.
I think that that doesn't seem to be the current sentiment.
No?
I don't think so.
You think they're all going to be considered an instrument of raising capital for stock?
I know this. The SEC wants their
pound
hands.
Of flesh. Their pound of flesh.
They want total control over the cryptocurrency universe. They have already conceded that Bitcoin is not going to be a part of their world. So that's the only one they've conceded. Behind closed doors, I think Ethereum probably won't be a part of their world. And there may be a handful that won't be, but they're going to set the bar as high as they can for them to govern as much as they can, in my opinion. So maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe they'll all end up being commodities.
I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, it's all conjecture, right?
That's right. We're speculating at this point. We don't know.
Wow. I'm getting excited. It's just good to see. I mean, it's been so depressing for so freaking long.
Yeah, this has been a long, long, hard run. And, every time we get some momentum, something comes along and just rug pulls it.
I wear my Bitcoin shirt out and people pick on me. Hey, there's that guy talking about Bitcoin. What a loser. And so's your face. Sorry.
Centralized control of coins will equal security, says Raul. Yeah, I mean...
That was Rand, by the way. That was South African Rand. Is that how you say it? R-A-N-D? Is it Rand?
I don't know.
That's what that was. That was neat. Have you ever received money from South Africa before?
I don't think so. I did receive a letter, but that was from...
Oh, that's Nigeria.
Yes, that was from Nigeria.
I know. Just, a prince left us, Tom, a lot of money. A ton of money.
You know how you get those emails and all that? I got, back in the day, I'm not kidding, but I got a letter. Somebody went to the trouble to buy an international envelope with an international stamp and put it on there, and I got it at my work office, and it was the old Nigerian scam. It was the, I have $10 million, and if you just give me your bank account number, blah, blah, blah. But they were literally doing this door-to-door back in the day. So now you just got to press an email button, and you send that out to 1 million people. At least these guys had to go around and walk around and stick them in mailboxes.
Hey, Mark. Nice to see you back. Space Oddity. Always a pleasure. Did you see that? Yeah, we were talking about you, by the way, Mark Twain. I said, I think he moved back to Australia. I didn't know he was from Australia. And I guess you're from Australia.
Now you know.
Now you know.
But you
I saw some rad waves though. I follow him on Twitter. And he had some rad waves.
You did just talk to me about him like 2 days ago.
I know.
So welcome back. I don't know if you were here all along and we just didn't notice or.
He traveled by boat to get to Australia, and it took him like 4 months. Isn't it like 36 hours to go to Australia in a plane?
It can't be that long.
Oh my God, yes it is. It's something like It's like 30 hours, I think.
Alex said, once regulations are here, altcoins will be down to several,
Go Chiefs.
not
Don't.
hundreds.
Whoa. Mark. That's what it was. That's why we were talking. We're big Buffalo Bills fans here.
We grew up
Big.
right outside of Buffalo, so it's our home team. And it's
And you gotta give us
America's
some-
team this year.
Yes, it is. Not the Chiefs. I mean, we've had some tragedies on the field.
Well, and tragedies avoided, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Not Presley. She died, unfortunately.
Yeah, Elvis's daughter passed away yesterday for reasons
Go
I
home.
don't know why. No,
I know.
all fans
are-
are welcome here.
Yeah.
And let's face it,
Even the Bengals?
either one of those teams could beat the Bills. I mean, those three teams are tough. For those of you who don't care, sorry, I'm talking football.
I guess we're getting closer to hitting 20. To hitting 20K.
We're at 19,938, 945, 48.
Wow.
If I thought
It's
it was going
going
to run to there right now, I would keep counting, but this could take hours for all we know.
It's insane. So it's up another 6%. Nice. So I'm sorry, Tom. I've been hijacking the show like always. We get sidetracked. We get excited to see Bitcoin. It's just been so long. Everybody's been picking on us, making me cry, man. So anyways. Ooh, look at that. We're from Rochester too, by the way.
This was our
We're
week.
from Rochester.
Oh, we got somebody from Rochester on the...
Yeah, Raul.
Wow. Welcome.
Yeah.
Are you still there, or have you moved to places elsewhere?
Hopefully elsewhere.
Listen, we still have a lot of friends and family there. So.
Ed Mac bills are due. Every month they come due. Every month. Oh my God.
Go Bills from Canada, says Adam.
That's insane. Whoa, Barry, go Seahawks.
Hey, listen.
I guess you got to have different teams.
Mark Twain said he was in hibernation when Bitcoin broke below 20,000. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people went into hibernation or denial or whatever else it took to sleep at night. This has been rough, but this week I'm going to take a time out right now and show you guys some stuff because I don't want to forget it, and it's just unbelievable, and I think it's worth reviewing. I want to show you the big board from a couple of days this week because you don't see these. I mean, you just don't. Somebody find me an industry watch list that looks like this. So this was, I just saved these. I took a screenshot. So this was Monday. Right, this wasn't even the big day. This was Monday. Bitfarms up 23%. GREE up 37%. I mean, look at this board. Just this one day would have made this like one of the best weeks for any industry in the stock market. But this was one day. Then we had this day. So this was milder, but still up 10%, 15%, 17%. Iris Energy was up 23%. So, but those were nothing because then yesterday we had this. Bitfarms up 44%. GREE up 61%. That's in the day. That's how much GREE was up yesterday. I mean, these moves are, and look, it's the whole industry. So this thing moves. These are not all created equal. So, I mean, make no mistake about that. But when there's moves like this, the whole industry, all boats rise. 36% Argo Blockchain, 26% Stronghold, 30% Any, Sphere 3D. This is one of the legendary days. This could be the best day of the year for this list right here. It's hard to say.
I have a question. Space Oddity just said something. He said that it's going to get to probably 20,500, then buy Bitcoin. So my question, if we get an opportunity to get these stocks back to where they were, would you? I mean, I got to think you pack your bags.
When you say pack your bags, what do you mean?
If Bitcoin goes back down, see, I still think Bitcoin. Just so you guys know, I haven't changed my mind. I still think Bitcoin's is going to hit around $9,000. I haven't changed that. Um, I still feel that, and there's just a lot of uncertainty still in Bitcoin and in the crypto market altogether. I don't think, but Tom is totally different than I am. I feel there's still a lot of, shoes to drop in this space, and I think that, we've had a really good run, but I don't think, it's over with. Now, Tom, you can say your opinion.
I'm not. What you and I have is a difference of opinion in the short term, and there's no doubt. And that doesn't mean I don't think there's another leg down. I think we just ran up so much that I gotta believe there's going to be a little pullback. Even if we go to 21,000 and 25,000, it's usually not in a straight line. There's some pullbacks in the middle. There's some buying opportunities, if you will. So I expect that, but we could have a nice run to 21,500 or 25,000. But I still don't think, even at that point, I'm not sure we can say the bull market is back. I think we need to go past that to say the bull market is back. That could still just be a gigantic relief rally. I'd be hard-pressed to say we're going to get back from 25,000 down to the lows, but I don't know. So many strange things have happened in this space. We're at 19,956, by the way. So we're getting very close to 20,000.
Wow. Tom, talk about compliance real quick. What do they have to do for compliance? Is it 10 days?
Oh, so, all right, for those Bitcoin miners that received a notice from the NASDAQ, which was most of them, their stock has to get above $1 and close there in 10 consecutive trading days in order to rectify being out of compliance. And if they do that, it's a total reset. So you can go back under $1 and the clock starts all over again. But
every day it goes under $1. Wow.
So for instance, for Bitfarms, this is their second day. If they go back under $1, let's say on Tuesday, then those 2 days don't count for anything, because then they got to get 10 consecutive days above $1 in order to get back into compliance. So there's a bunch of these, right? Like, I'm going to tell you two of them that we just looked at. Bitfarms and GREE, those were trading in the 30 cents range a couple of weeks ago. There's nobody that thought they were gaining compliance in the next week or two. Never mind. Most people thought they were going to have to do reverse splits and or go out of business. For them to be, over $1 right now is, but that is why somebody just said the real diamond hands are the people that held the Bitcoin miners over the last year. And I believe that. And obviously it was a rough run and it was not fun, and it might not be over, but this industry has volatility at a level that I have not found anywhere else in the stock market.
Well, we know somebody that bought Marathon at like 36, let it run up to what? Did it get to almost 70, Tom?
It got to $83.
Yeah, it kept it the whole time, and we even called him up and said sell. He's like, no, I'm not going to sell. And now he let it go all the way down to, what is it, $6 now, $5?
It got down in the threes. It's back up to $7.68. Right.
So there's people out there that just kept it and they just believe in it.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard. Do you try and
time
oddity, things?
I agree with you, by the way. I think I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
What did he say?
He's saying it's going to dump around 20,500 to leg down and then sideways again.
I mean, that very well could be.
I kind of hope it does. You know that? No offense, guys. Sorry. Because then you get an opportunity to get back in at a cheaper price. But I think that if it happens this time, I think that more people are going to really hold on instead of, because they just saw it happen again. I don't think so many people are going to dump and, poop on the miners.
Miners won't move until Tuesday, said Gary. Thanks, Gary. I know for
My whole
sure.
thing is I think that's what I was going to say, JD, is I think that there is a black swan event coming again, by the way.
So, yeah, JD said, hopefully there's no more FTX-type events to smack it down. And that's what George feels like. There's at least another shoe to drop, if not more than one. But I feel like I think we can take it now. I think Bitcoin is resilient. It's paid its dues. So, again, never up in a straight line, but sometime in 2023, by the middle of 2023, I think we're going to be full-blown Bitcoin bull run. That doesn't mean I think we're running to 100,000. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying once we cross 25 and start heading up from there, to me, that's no longer a relief rally. We're now back in a bull market, and, we're headed up from there. And that has a lot to do with the Fed because, that's the easiest advice in history, and it's advice that I did not follow. And honestly, we've been lulled for 20 years. The Fed hasn't really had much to do with anything for a long, long time. But it's follow the Fed because they got the money. It's not just the interest rates. We pay super close attention to the interest rates, but the quantitative easing they were doing, they were just dumping money, and it was all ending up in the market, and that caused a gigantic pump, and then they just turned the valve off and, in fact, did the opposite. So, we're in a quantitative tightening right now. I think by, somewhere in Q3, that's all changed, in my opinion. And that will cause, even if the economy's not doing well, which I don't know how the economy's going to make out, the stock market is always ahead of the economy. And I think that the cryptocurrency is going to be ahead of that. It took a bigger hit to the downside, so I think it's bottomed out first, and it's going to run first. But
hey, and Peter, just Tom doesn't think what I think. Just so you know, Tom thinks totally different. I'm the one that thinks we're going down to 9K. And you know what? I was wrong once. And I'll own it if it doesn't get there. But I just think that, people have to realize that there's, two sides to every coin. And I think that what happens is people forget that. And they do stupid things. Like right now, here's why I think Bitcoin's going to go back down, is I think there's 20 billion long on Bitcoin right now. The market makers aren't paying that out.
19,961.
20 billion. So that's the reason why I think it's going back down. They know how to bring it just up to the right amount of money to make people feel that they're going to make all this money and wipe everybody out. They've been doing it very well for a long, long time now.
Well, for the last 15 months, they've duped everybody time after time after time after time. There's no...
What was it, Tom, that you said you could go, like, with your Bitcoin, you can multiply it how many times when you go long?
Oh, there's places that 50x and 100x.
Yeah, 50 and 100x. Can you imagine?
I mean, that's
pure gambling.
That's beyond the biggest gambling you can do in a casino. I mean, to me, that's madness. But you do you if you're doing that. But understand, like, the slightest move in the wrong direction, and all your money's gone. And it keeps happening to both sides. When they go long, the shorts the rug gets pulled, and when there's too many people short, the opposite happens. So it's a dangerous. This is how I look at it. If you're in the Bitcoin miners, that's already a leveraged play on a highly volatile asset. So to me, that's enough leverage and volatility. Right? We're getting 200, 300, 400% moves here in a week or two on these stocks. I'm not talking about options. I showed an option in my video yesterday that was up 1,200% yesterday.
Right.
So I had that option, but, it was I didn't make a lot of money in it because, I'm not going to invest a lot of money. This is what I will tell you why I had that option. I was selling my Bitfarm options from May because those are the options that I bought. So as I bought Bitfarm options for May, I really doubled down on that. So as they started to skyrocket, I sold those, but I didn't want to be out of Bitfarms altogether. So at that time, The Bitfarm $1 calls were 1 penny. So I bought them. Every time I sold something for whatever, 30 cents or 40 cents, I spent a penny of it, and I bought the $1. So, you know, it's not a lot of money. 99% of the time, those are going to be worthless. But Bitfarms and GREE had a run this week where they can't, you know, there should have been no chance those ended up in the money, but they did.
I'm no good with options. Anytime I do an option, it always misses and I lose. Those are the worst things for me.
I'm just explaining, I don't usually do options that expire that quickly. That's, you know, those options had a week and a half left. That's, I have not done well in that in my life. I learned a long time ago that's probably no place for me. But because I just did that with 1 penny of my profits on everything I sold, I felt like that was a worthy reinvestment. So I kind of, you know, lucked into that, I guess is what I would say. But my other options were up 200%, 300%. And again, you didn't need to be in options to be up that. Bitfarms was up over 100%. GREE was up, what was it, 400% in 2-3 weeks. And these things have to go up another multiple thousands of percents to get back to where they were a year ago. So some of them may never get back there. So on those, you know, those aren't a good investment. Some of them, I believe, will get back there and beyond.
I'm going to try to buy more CleanSpark right now. It's trading at 260 something after hours.
You're buying CleanSpark after hours. What are you buying? You just bought some today.
I'm a crazy man.
Don't do it.
You've convinced me, Tom.
I did not. That wasn't even...
I'm only going to spend, you know, a price of a car.
Space Oddity is saying, now everyone's long, so next comes a dump. And that's true.
Yeah.
There's gonna the longs are going to get caught, just like the shorts just did. The shorts just got caught, and that's a part of this pump. So you're right. That's a ebb and flow, and it's going to go back and forth. The question is, after that pullback, can we get another leg up?
Do I do it?
I would not do it. You just bought in today. Dollar cost averaging is not buying in at 11 o'clock and then again at 5 in the afternoon. That is not.
I don't want to miss it.
That's called FOMO. There's a word for that. You just got a bunch in.
I think you got to do it. I think we got to.
Phone book's on. It's at 124 people. All right. That's our all-time. I wish I had some kind of celebration button. That's our all-time record. So the best I got is the...
No, because they can't believe I'm such an idiot. They're saying, this idiot's going to go and buy. He just said that he thinks it's going down.
Yeah, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it.
And most of the time, I'm not on it, so it's probably better that way.
George is on all the live streams.
Tom does all the research. I just try to keep it live and entertaining. Tom would be like, can you imagine Tom? Well, Bitcoin's going well.
Yeah, you guys don't want... You guys... There's definitely a difference between our live streams and my videos.
I'm reviewing the order now, Tom.
Don't do it. Hey, listen, you do whatever you want to do.
Acknowledge that you're stupid enough to buy this after hours. You have a special maintenance agreement of 100%.
It should say, are you absolutely 100% sure that you want to do this? Mike Robinson saying CleanSpark will be down next week. So you heard it from Mike Robinson before you bought.
Mike. Okay, Mike. Do not place order. I won't do it. Do not place order. Are you sure you want to cancel this order?
FOMO
I really
alert.
want to buy it.
Raul's putting a FOMO alert up. Adam's
this
saying
order was
send it.
not placed.
Do it, YOLO. We got... Oh, this is... George, if you knew who said that, you would have done it.
Who?
Pooh Brain said, do it. You only live once.
Brain!
We didn't quite get... What did we get to? 19,976.
I love Pooh Brain. That's a great name.
We're staying here till we get to 20,000. That's it.
Tom, you really don't think I should buy? What about BTBT? Can I buy some of that?
I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I
Should
feel
buy
like
GREE? Oh, talk about GREE and what you told me. I think that's real interesting for everybody to hear this.
GREE has had a monstrous run up. They are on. So I'm on record. I made a list of 6 companies that I'm worried about. So GREE is on that list. They came out with the last news we got from them was December 30th, and there was no price action on it for days and days, and then all of a sudden, bam, up 400%. This is a stock that, for me personally, I'm more worried about them going out of business or filing Chapter 11. I don't understand why this stock is exploding, other than, I will say, the market cap got so tiny. You know, this was down to like a $20 million market cap company. And the poor people who bought this when it was support.com. Because, you know, this is down 99.999% since then.
By the way, I bought it.
What'd you buy?
I bought another 10,000 shares of CleanSpark. It didn't take it yet. I got like 2. I got 2 of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of shares for after hours. That might take a bit.
Yeah, no, it's not going. No one's buying it. They just said they were on the thing for $1.260, and I was like, oh, I'll just buy them for $2.62, and I only got 1.
Miner Doc thinks CleanSpark's gonna squeeze. So, if he's right, then you did right.
Squeeze, baby. 264. Now
Gorilla
they say.
was telling you to buy Riot.
Really, you think
it's too
Riot?
late. It's too late.
Is it too late? Well, I mean, I have it in. I can cancel that and try again.
Oh yeah, after hours. That's probably gonna take a while to fill. Mike's saying there's a pullback soon. Beware. Mike's giving the warning sign.
I'm nuts. I don't. You know. I mean, guys, just I'm the worst stock trader you've ever seen in your life. I don't want anybody to. I mean, I just am. I'm not like I can tell other people.
Doesn't seem to bother you though.
Yeah, I know, because I make a lot of money other ways.
Why would anyone... This is Peter. Why would anyone own CleanSpark? They have no HODL and no cash. They're going to be diluting the HELL out of the stock. Well, I disagree, Peter. I respectfully... I think CleanSpark, their operational performance is absolutely... 20,000 even right now. It was just there.
Where's the bells?
Oh man, I got no bells, whistles. I got nothing.
Oh my god!
But that's
20
it.
grand.
20,000.
20 grand. Wow.
We were all here.
That's awesome.
Well, let's say what that guy said about gold.
I got 1 share at $2.61. Oh my god.
Calvin wants to know, am I still holding my DigiHost position? And the answer to that is no. I did sell that a long time ago. I do like DigiHost. I think their story has circled all the way back around. They had some really, really tough stuff happen to them. And, their stock got beat up, but everybody's stock got beat up. So I got out of my DigiHost, and I think I split it between like Bitfarms, HUT, and Riot or something like that. So I didn't take the money out of the space, but I did move it into different miners. But I like DigiHost. I don't own them right now, and I'm not likely to add them because I'm already in so much that we'll see. All right, we got.
I went up. I'm going up, guys. I went to 265.
George says, not you, George. Other George says, no guts, no glory.
That's it. Let's see if I got any more.
Alex is saying, after hours time during institutional buyers filling orders, not your time to buy.
Bam! Got them all.
You just...
Why did you tell me that before?
You were warned. You were warned. You were put on notice by several of the people on this chat.
I bought them.
You got to be you.
265.
88 likes. Thank you, everybody. If you're still here, if you can
Woo-hoo!
like the button and
maybe I should like it.
I got a new button. Subscribe.
I wasn't
if you're
sure
not
if I was going to like it
subscribed.
today or not, guys.
Oh, you haven't pressed like yet? How dare you? Don't
I
forget
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you're welcome to join and be a member. We went through earlier what members get, and there's a bunch of members on this live stream.
20,000. I did not. Did anybody think last stream that we would be at $20,000 today?
Did anybody think that yesterday? I mean, this is wild.
Wow, it is. But
Bears are wrecked. Yeah, the Bears got wrecked this week.
Oh yeah, should we give prediction of the game? Buffalo Bills versus eating some dolphin fins this weekend on Sunday. What are we thinking?
I'm not jinxing the game.
Oh, you think by coming up with a prediction of the score is jinxing it?
I predict the Bills win big.
I hope so. I mean, even if you don't even like NFL, please root for the Bills.
You have to understand, growing up near Buffalo, as Buffalo fans, Miami is the #1 team that we would consider them our #1 rival. In years where we were no good and games didn't matter, we still got hyped for the Miami game. That was the game, and the entire decade of the 70s, Miami beat Buffalo twice a year, every single year. That's 20 losses in a row. So you won't blame us for wanting to get some of those back.
20.
Gorilla, we will all be millionaires soon. Peter says, rest in peace, Bears. Daywalker. Hello, I don't know if I said hello to you yet.
Peter just said 30K before February 1st. That would be awesome because then Tom would only be off by 1 month.
What? By how much? 30K before February 1st. Peter is bullish. Welcome to the stream. I know you've been here for a long time, but I think you're the most bullish person on the stream. That would be, listen, I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
So if it went to, just real quick, since we're about ready to close the stream, I just need to know, if I bought big CleanSpark for 265 right now, what would it be at 30K if Bitcoin got to 30K?
You know, there's other variables. How much are they diluting, and what's their monthly operational performance?
How much are they selling their... you realize I probably just bought 10,000 shares of the at the counter or whatever they're called.
You're buying exactly. You're buying it. They're at the counter.
I bought it directly from CleanSpark today, just so everybody knows.
Oh, Adam says can't forget about the '90s wide right. Anyone who's a Bills fan knows exactly what that means.
Wide? Was that Andre Reed?
Andre Reed. You call yourself a Bills fan? We lost the Super Bowl. Wide right. Right.
Oh, Norwide.
That's right. Exactly.
Norwide. Hey, $7 CleanSpark. That's what Pooh just said.
Nice.
Pooh Brain.
Mike
That's
Robinson,
awesome. Thank
Marathon.
You.
Mike is
so
bullish
that would be
on Marathon.
That would be over $100,000 right there on that one trade.
Bam. Let's hope
30.
Let's make that happen.
Awesome. Dude, that would be awesome.
2023. Let's put some wins in the win column here this year.
Well, I better go before I get a divorce.
All right, George. Enjoy the long weekend. Thanks
Bye,
for
everyone.
joining us.
Real fun. Thanks for watching.
One more.
What?
Bam.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right. See you later. So, all right. I'm still here. I'll wrap it up for a few minutes. Oh, Stephen English. Bills versus Raiders 1990 AFC Championship game. I was at that game. Back then, I was still up there, so I was at every other. That was I think it was 51-3. But then they went and lost the Super Bowl, so nobody, other than you and me apparently, nobody remembers that because You got to win the big one. That was heartbreaking. We lost 4 in a row. Peter says, I'm usually commenting on the video because I'm at work. When we're live. Price in last Fed interest hike, so 30K around middle of March, says Ty. I mean, yeah, what do we think the Fed's going to do here? The world thinks we've got another 25 basis points coming on February 1st. And then another 25 coming in March. And I think people are starting to think that's going to be the end of it. I am not convinced. But it's just a timing thing for me because I do think they will turn around at some point this year. I'm just not sure it's going to be that soon because they are pretty committed. Jerome Powell has made it absolutely clear he is not going to be guilty of turning this thing around too soon and stopping short. He would rather overshoot on the rate hikes, and he literally has said that at every single meeting. He would rather overshoot, and, you know, you can always pull back. So we'll see. I'm still hesitant. Stephen English said, it was 51-3. I'm a Raiders fan and was quite drunk by the end, drowning my... You know what's funny? I'm a Buffalo Bills fan first because I grew up in Buffalo, but I've been a huge Raiders fan my whole life, so I was pretty conflicted about that game. Art Shell was the coach back then, and they had a great team. The Raiders showed up in upstate New York, Buffalo. They had, they were walking around in T-shirts thinking they were better than the cold, and you know what? It's cold up there. So... by the end of the game, they learned that it's different in Buffalo. Gary said, give us 50. 50 what? Oh, basis points. Poll. Gary's calling for a poll. We're going to go to a very late poll. And I'll add one more option. All right, what's everybody think? So we're going to... I put a quarter, 25 basis points, 50 basis points, or nothing. What do we think? Mike's saying March is going to be new lows. So we got some dueling... conflicting opinions here on the stream today. We got some people, we got a call for 30,000 and a call for new lows. So 19.7 average for the weekend. I mean, we're pulling back a little bit. We did get, we're getting a 15-minute red candle here, but, that's short term. And we hit, look, if you guys can see this, I think you can see this on the screen. We literally hit exactly $20,000 and 0 cents. And that turned into resistance. So we'll see if that holds as resistance all weekend or if we can quickly get through that and keep moving on up. This run is going further than I thought it was going to. I will tell you. For those of you who watched my videos regularly, you'll know I was very bullish coming into this week, but I did not think the second half of Thursday and Friday was going to finish out this way. This is beyond my expectations. Knee Deep said after the G-Men beat Montana and the 49ers, I bet 2K on the G-Men to cover and beat the Bills. So you made some money that day. The Bills were heavily favored in that game, and they lost. We got an Eagles fan. We finally get a Super Bowl on the board, so I think the Bills can. Yeah, exactly. It's our turn. What I'm thinking is if the Bills and the Vikings meet in the Super Bowl, both of those franchises are 0-4 in the Super Bowl. So then at least somebody gets to win the Super Bowl. Ty's saying at most 75% interest hike left. I think he's saying altogether. Powell's only hawkish weapon is his mouth. Well, that's true, and that's why you can see every time he opens his mouth, he says as hawkish things as he can possibly say. He has stuck to his talking points for many months now because he knows at some point he's going to run out of interest rate hikes sooner than later. So all he can do is try and talk as tough as he can talk. Inflation, Alex is saying inflation at 7% when he started with rate hikes. The first 3% was fluff water weight. The heavy lifting is to get to his 2% goal. And I read an article today called 3%'s the new 2%. So there's a lot of consensus starting to say that 2% might be an unrealistic expectation going forward, and if they can get it down to 3%, that they're going to feel like they did what they had to do. So I don't know. I think they're going to talk about 2%. And you know, we've got some good comp numbers now. So I do think, and I think we're getting inflation a little bit under control. I guess. I don't know. The big factor was oil, unfortunately, in this last report. And, you know, that's a wild card. So Raul said sell wall. That's where exchanges make money on the sell walls. Brett, Minnesota, purple blood. I'm on the Vikings if the Seahawks lose. Go Seahawks. Darren's betting on the Niners, Chargers, and Bengals this weekend. Biggest factor was housing. No, Raul is asking. Housing, I mean, housing is the most heavily weighted thing. Housing was up, I think, or 0.8 for December. So that was a big push up. Fuel, oil was way down. So really, in my opinion, the reason we got our 6.5 that everybody was shooting for was really about fuel. Kelvin's saying Cypher. Here's the thing about Cypher. They were quiet all year last year. They just put out their first operational update, and they're talking about doing big things. They have a nice balance sheet. I think they're going to be a top 7 type of a miner. If they do exactly what they say they're going to do, they'll even be bigger than that. But as we all know, so far, almost nobody's been able to stick to plan, and most people have not even been close to their plan. But I do think Cypher is going to end up being one of the winners, and it's going to be, I think, you know, that was in my top 8. My problem with them is, and it's not a problem so much, but $274 million market cap already makes them bigger than Bitfarms. It makes them bigger than CleanSpark. It makes them bigger than Hut. It makes them bigger than Hive. So they've already passed everybody, and they haven't even started going yet. So I feel like their market cap is to a point where, from an investment standpoint, I'm not sure you're getting the best bang for your buck, in my opinion, with Cypher. I do like them as a company, though, for sure. Alex is saying, go Cowboys. I'm sorry, Alex, but as the Cowboys beat the Bills, not once, but twice in the Super Bowl, I cannot root for the Cowboys. But go Cowboys, says Alex. Raul said, winter is almost over. I assume crypto winter. That would be good. That, you know, listen, we've been fooled before. I'll take these runs while we get them. It's so hard, you know, so hard to call it because so much happens that we can't expect. Hut Mara, chart doesn't look like Hut will recover. Needs to revert to the mean. So I think that, so I don't know in the short term, but I'm very bullish on Hut in the long term. That's my opinion. So Calvin's saying Cypher or Hut 8. So if you look at Hut 8, I mean, here's the thing. Hut 8's got 9,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, that's a strong balance sheet. If you think Bitcoin's going to tank, then you're nervous about their balance sheet. So that's why there's so many different opinions on these things. All of these companies have different strategies. So if we go Cypher, and then if you look at Hut, okay, so Hut's is a little bigger. Cypher was 274 million. Hut is 310 million. But remember, they have, $200 million of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So, that helps support this number a little bit more, in my opinion. Operationally, they made a clear decision. They've scaled back big time. They did that at the beginning of the year. They did it all year. They have not made a move. They're looking, or so they say, but they have not made a move. Hut 8 versus Bitfarms. Which miner is better? Those are two of my top 4. So, I have a hard time saying which one's better. I had on my list, I had Hut 8 higher just because I think they have a much stronger balance sheet. But Bitfarms, from a performance standpoint, I feel like Bitfarms and CleanSpark had the best performance in 2022, just hands down. Not counting Core Scientific. Core Scientific is its own story. Obviously, that is an absolute monster. But they're in Chapter 11, so, they can be as big as they want. I'm not sure there's any money there for shareholders. Everybody, if you're here, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate, the channel has been doing good in a very, very, we hung in there through all this brutal time. So this has been a good couple of weeks for us. So congratulations to everybody who's been following along and who's stuck with this, because this was one of the most brutal. This downturn was about as bad as they get. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so that's 2022. So this is the performance of the 18 Bitcoin miners that I follow in the year 2022 from January 1st to December 31st. So you'll see, so that's not from their highs in November, because they were already way down by January 1st. This is just a 1-year performance. Bitcoin itself was down 64%. We had Core 99% down, GREE 98% down, Mawson 97% down, Stronghold 96%, TerraWolf 96% down. I mean, we're 5 deep and we're still at 96% down. That's just on the year. Show me another industry where there's companies like this. And then you've got the rest of these just about in the average, somewhere plus or down 90% plus or minus 2%. Was the vast majority of all Bitcoin miners in the year. So there were a few outliers on the one side and a few on the other, but, down 90%. So that means this industry was down 90% in 2022. That's a full-blown, that's beyond a bear market. Let's just say that. I don't think there is a definition for an industry down 90% in 1 year. So you won't find this very often. But having said that, this is the very volatility that makes me believe when we recover, if you're down 91%, you got an awful long way to go to get from a percentage. You can have a lot of up 20% days, like hundreds of them, before you get back to where you were. So that's the good part of trading the Bitcoin miners, if we can get there, and maybe we're moving there right now. Obviously, this week was spectacular. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. George usually reads the comments for me while he's here and stays caught up, so I'm multitasking. made a lot of money swing trading Core Q this week. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they're now... So, to me, that's no... I don't know how to buy and hold that, because who knows what that is going to look like when they come out of Chapter 11. So, just as many times as not, there could be nothing left for shareholders. But that doesn't mean it's not a good stock to trade, because it is a super volatile stock. So, if you're a trader, the stocks on this list are, you know, awesome. If you get it right. Obviously, if you get it wrong, if you're not a trader and you're fiddling around, please be careful, because these are crazy, crazy volatile stocks. Did you guys see the run of DigiHost and DMG? Let's look at... Let's go to DigiHost. So you can see again that this is on the day, the daily RSI. Look how overbought all these are. That's why I just think there's a little pullback ahead, even if we're not done with this run. And I hope we're not. It just feels like there's got to be a little pullback in there somewhere. So this is DigiHost. Let's take a look at what they did since... Looks like they bottomed out on December 30th. Somewhere around 30 cents. So they're up 157% in the year 2022. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This industry's gotten off to for as bad as 2021 was, it's gotten off to a really great start. I mean, these are huge runs. Let's look at DMG. See how they did. So same time frame, December 30th. Well, to the peak today was 189%, and then they did pull back. So almost 140% in 2023 so far. Obviously, this is unsustainable pace. You know, these stocks can't do this all year long. Space Oddity Cores is not bankrupt. They are just hiding in chapter... Well, that's a... Chapter 11 is a bankruptcy, but you're right. They're not bankrupt and out of business. So they're a Chapter 11 reorganization, and they'll come out the other end. But that doesn't mean their stock is coming out the other end, right? Because shareholders are absolutely last in line. So for Core Scientific, you know, if you're management, that might be awesome. But if you're a stockholder... there's just as good a chance as any is that that stock is going to be worth nothing. Which, if I had read the rest of what Space Oddity said, is basically, I think, what he's saying. But no telling what happens to the stock when they come out of Chapter 11. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's exactly right. It's like, great for them. The thing they're hiding in Chapter 11 is putting it exactly right, because they get to... that gives them cover to keep producing. They're the biggest producer of, you know, the biggest Bitcoin miner by a mile. They mined over 1,400 Bitcoin in December alone. So, I mean, they are in first place by a lot. And now, because they went into Chapter 11, they get to keep running their machines. So they're probably never going to have to turn their machines off. So I do think a lot of people thought some of these companies were going to go by the wayside, and that would reduce the amount of exahash on the, you know, global network, and it would reduce the difficulty level, and it would put downward pressure on the price of the Bitcoin mining machines. But some of that isn't happening. I mean, they've got, I think, 150,000 machines, and instead of having to get rid of them, they get to run them. Peter said, Core sells every Bitcoin for a loss, and they're insolvent. I mean, they're insolvent at the moment, but they are... They claim... So they claim in their press release, they say that excluding debt and debt service, so that's the principal and interest on debt, they are cash flow positive company. That's what they say. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for their December financial statements to come out to see if that's true. But that is what they said in their most recent press release, that they went into Chapter 11 because with interest and the principal due on their debt, they were insolvent. But with those two things out, they're a cash flow positive company. So I don't know. I guess I'll believe it when I see it. Garrett is saying BKKT creating a one world currency system. Huge squeeze coming. I don't know who this is. So, $161 million market cap. Operates a digital asset platform. The company's platform enables customers to buy, sell, convert, and spend digital assets. Is this an exchange? Its customers include merchants, retailers, and... Okay, so you're saying it's more of a whole ecosystem. I don't know these guys. So, this is news to me. Space Oddity saying Core's mining 50 Bitcoin a day, $1 million a day. That's right. At Bitcoin 20,000, they're getting $1 million a day. So, I mean, that's not bad. So, Stephen English is saying excluding debt, the U.S. is cash flow positive too. Yeah, that's right, exactly. If we could all exclude our interest and principal on our debt, and then that's... But, you know, when you go into Chapter 11, for a window of time, you get to live in that world. But you don't get to live there forever. When is the next Bitcoin miner interview on the channel? Asked Raul. You guys let me know. First of all, let's check in on the poll, and I will get right back to that. So, overwhelmingly, we've got... I'm going to end it. 25 basis points got 62%, 50 basis points got 33%, and 0 got 6%. So I think the consensus is 25 basis points, but 50's not out of the question. And that's actually, I totally agree with that. The market is actually much more, the market has 93% chance priced in for a 25 basis point rate hike. So I think there's a chance they could get surprised. But it's probably going to be 25. Get Frank, please, says Barry. So do people want to hear from Frank? Because I will tell you, I don't know if it was timing or bad luck or whatever the case may be, but I did the miner updates for all the big Bitcoin miners, and by far Hive got the least views, and it wasn't even close. They got like a half or a third of the views of most of the other miners. So I don't know if people have lost interest in Hive or if that was just an anomaly. I'm not sure. So from my perspective, it feels like people don't even want to hear about Hive. I would be glad to talk to Frank again. They did just put out an announcement that they got their Buzz miner or whatever it is, their own, you know, with the Intel chip, the ASIC chip inside, up and running. So they have stuff going on. Space Oddity saying Core might sell some and keep some Bitcoin. We don't really know their strategy. Yeah, I feel like we're just in the dark until we see what their reorganization looks like. Space Oddity saying Hive seems shady. You are not alone in that sentiment. I get that comment more about Hive than about any other Bitcoin miner. There's a couple others that people seem to feel maybe the same way about, but I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. Frank came on the channel. I thought he was very nice. I thought he answered my questions, but I don't know. I'd be glad to have him back on if you guys want to see that. Alex is saying he lost credibility with me. I think, are you referring to Frank? Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I think Frank was lobbying and also was convinced that either the Ethereum move to proof of stake was not going to happen for a while, or maybe, just maybe, it wasn't going to happen at all. So I do think while they knew that was looming, I think that happened a lot sooner than they expected. And I don't think anybody expected the fact that once Ethereum went to proof of stake, these GPUs, there was nothing else they could mine. They're making pennies on the dollar of what they were making mining Ethereum. So the GPUs are no longer a profitable thing to mine. I think Hive had 1 Bitcoin equivalent that they mined from their GPUs last month. I mean, that's worthless versus the cost. Raul saying all the Intel Bitcoin miner chips were considered inferior, not as powerful and efficient. So I don't know. I guess let's see how they perform. I feel like until these things get plugged in and perform, and I guess they have some kind of variable speed where they can, you know, and I guess they can all do this just by overclocking or underclocking, but they're saying, you know, they can really manage the amount of energy that's being used like in real time with these things. Any will be the 5th beetle, said Steven. I like Any, and I was extremely, extremely skeptical of Any last year, but they have a new CEO, they have a new plan, and I feel like they're actually going to be, they're going to survive. I don't know if they can ever get back to, you know, what they had the hopes and dreams of. I don't even think they believed their own press release, to be honest with you. When at one point they said they did a press release saying they were going to get to 32.4 exahash. So it was laughable, in my opinion, and it made no sense in so many ways that I did more than one video on that explaining it, but it requires no explanation. Those machines they were buying turned out to not be real. They never bought them, and that whole plan is gone. So, but their new plan sounds very realistic. They've shaped up their balance sheet, and I like what they're doing. So I like Any. They're small. You know, I don't expect them to compete with the larger guys for a long time, but I do like the company. Alex said, Frank, knowing or not knowing, was pumping. That's a problem with his credibility. I mean, I understand. Things did not play out the way that Frank said they were going to play out. I feel like the U.S. Brett, this is Brett. I feel like the U.S. government likes public miner liquidating to USD, helps support USD, and the regulatory perspective on adopting Bitcoin to mainstream in the USA. So, the public... Oh, you're saying selling their Bitcoin. Is that what you're saying? Do you think CleanSpark will switch to a HODL strategy as Bitcoin increases in value? CleanSpark has said they want to get to a situation where they always want to pay for their operations with their Bitcoin, but they would like to be in a situation where they're holding some and selling some. Based on their current exahash rate, they should be mining, 600 plus Bitcoin this month. So, if they do that, then they can hold some and sell some. But that was their stated goal. So a lot of these companies have come out and started to talk that way. The two opposites. Marathon came out. Marathon has hodled 100% of everything, and they came out and said, next year we want to take more of a hybrid approach. CleanSpark has sold absolutely every one of theirs. Well, virtually. And they kind of came out and said, they'd like to move to more of a hybrid approach as well. So I think everybody ideally would like to do that. Gary said, Patient Bill thought they were, we will see. I don't know what that is in response to. Peter saying, I think CleanSpark has to dilute massively to fulfill their growth objective. So I will tell you this. That is the one thing I will say about CleanSpark. This talk of 16 exahash, I'm not convinced of at all. So they did an outstanding job of growing and paying for their own growth without taking on debt. Now, they did do a bunch of stock dilution, but unless Bitcoin takes a massive move to the upside, to me, it makes no sense for them to grow from 6 exahash to 16 exahash in 2023. That does not make sense to me. I don't think they'll do that at Bitcoin anywhere from, 17 to 24,000. If we get back on a bull run, then I guess maybe that could make sense. But that would require an awful lot of dilution. And it's just not necessary, in my opinion. Apparently management disagrees with me, but we'll see. We'll see if they really disagree. Let's see what their actions are this year. Gary's saying Mara bought miners at peak cost. So that is true, but they got $700+ million in convertible debt when their stock was trading near $80. So, they paid way too much for their miners, but they did get paid a lot in convertible debt, which they hope will end up being equity. So it's funny. People think I hate Marathon. I get more comments about how I hate Marathon. I've never said that. And if you watch any of my videos, you'll see I don't hate Marathon. I do. I'm pretty crystal clear that I'm frustrated that they keep saying they're going to do one thing, but then they do another. So particularly my last monthly update, they had 2 different times where they made gigantic promises in their most recent monthly update. And it's like, why? You've missed every single one of these for a year. Why would you now double down and start making even bigger promises? So that's my only issue with them. They have not started, operationally, they have not performed anywhere near the way they said they are. Financially, they are set up, if they can get their act together, they're set up to maybe be the best Bitcoin miner out of all of them. So, to me, that's a wild card. Sour Melon Gaming saying, I'm pretty convinced that Hut's going to be forced to sell Bitcoin. They don't have enough cash to buy miners and keep good liquidity. They need more exahash before halving, or they're in some trouble. So they do need more exahash before halving. They've clearly gone into, they went into hibernation. So they did not purchase order a single Bitcoin mining machine in the year 2022. They did not buy a single Bitcoin mining machine on the spot market in 2022. They shut it down. What they did do was they just bought the rest of the ones that they had already purchase ordered and put deposits down on, and that's it. So we'll see. I expect them to make a move sometime in the next few months. And I don't think they want to sell. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll have to sell their Bitcoin, but they really do not want to sell their Bitcoin, until it's at some much higher number than this. They've held on for all this time. Brett's saying maybe Mara plans to buy another company. I think everybody thought there would be a little more consolidation in this industry. We just went through such a brutal period of time, and it's like the only one that even filed Chapter 11 was Core Scientific. Now, a lot of these miners did have to give a lot of their machines back to their lender and drastically change their plans. So a lot of these companies are much, much, much smaller versions of themselves than they thought they were going to be at this time and going forward. So that did happen, but, not a lot of them went out of business necessarily. And really, we didn't see anybody buying any of them. I think what people were waiting for I don't think these companies wanted to buy another company. I think they wanted them to go out of business and buy their assets at pennies on the dollar. But so far, and that is how CleanSpark grew in 2022. They did a bunch of that. Peter says, I think Tom has given Mara fair coverage. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. I know it's funny if you like Marathon, then you probably think I hate him. And if you hate Marathon, there's people out there that think I like him but I've tried to do what you just said. So I'm glad that you say that. That's what I try to do. Darren's going to the casino. Have a great weekend. Thank you. You have a great weekend too, Darren. So I'm gonna wrap it up and say have a great weekend to everybody. Let me just read. Alex said, I agree, Tom. Where did that go? What happened? I don't know what happened. Everything just went by so fast I lost where I was. All right, so I can't catch up because I just fell far behind. So Space Odyssey, yes, good, said yes, good coverage. Thank you, Space Odyssey. So, all right, lastly, I always want to round out by saying thank you to everybody. Thanks to all the members in particular. Thanks to all the subscribers. Thanks to all the viewers. If you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you. And, of course, you're all welcome to become a member. There is a fee. It's very inexpensive, but obviously I appreciate you just being a subscriber and watching the videos. So everybody have an awesome weekend. If you watch football, then you got a good weekend coming up. And if you invest in Bitcoin or the Bitcoin miners, then you can enjoy the awesome week that we just had. This was, you know, let's hope this wasn't the best week of the year, because this was that kind of week that was good enough. It could have been the best week of the year, but I'm hoping we have a bunch more that rival this week. We'll see what happens. So far, off to a much better start this year than last year. So let's hope it keeps going. So thanks again, everybody, so much for views, comments, everything. I really do appreciate it. So have a great weekend, and I will see you guys. I will be making videos all weekend. So I'll see you guys in the next video.